All right, we're going to continue with 3.1. This is our part 2 video. And we're going to start right away with a key idea, which is equivalent ratios. In words, it means two ratios that describe the same relationship are equivalent ratios. Two ratios are equivalent when you can multiply each quantity in one ratio by the same positive number to obtain the other ratio. This will be better explained when I show you the example. So in this example, 1 to 3 and 2 to 6 are equivalent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them up like this. I've got 1 to 3, and then I'm going to put the 2 to 6 down here. I'm going to show you that if I take and multiply this by 2, I'm going to do the same thing over here. 1 times 2 is 2, and 3 times 2 is 6. So basically, you can think about it like this. 1 over 3, which we talked about earlier in the other video, it should equal 2 over 6. Because all I did was I multiplied that by 2, and I multiplied that by 2. It's kind of like when we're reducing fractions. We're just kind of going the opposite way. We'll learn more about it in the next example. So determining whether ratios are equivalent, what we would be given is something like this. 4 to 3 and 20 to 15. We need to determine whether they're equivalent or not. The best way that I know how to do it is kind of do it like fractions. I like to set mine up 4 over 3. I want to know, is it equal to 20 over 15? So in order to do that, I've got to say, all right, how do I get from 4 to 20, and how do I get from 3 to 15? What times 4 equals 20? Well, it's times 5. I have to do the same thing. If I'm going to do it up here, let me get my red. If I'm going to do it up here, I have to do the same thing down here. So we have to check it. So 4 times, let me get my pointer. 4 times 5 equals 20. 3 times 5 equals 15. So the answer would be yes, because they equal each other. So if you double check that, let's say it was 24 on top, okay? It wouldn't work if I did 4 times 6, and then I did 3 times 6, because my 15 would be incorrect. So that's kind of how you check it. But yes, they would be equivalent, because you can make that fraction, and then if I reduced 20/15ths, it would be 4/3. Let's try another one. So I have 5/7 and 10/21. So again, I'm just going to set it up with my 5 to 7 and 10 to 21. So I'm going to set it up like fractions. Sorry, I said that backwards. I got 10 over 21. So again, how am I going to get from 5 to 10? Well, I can multiply by 2. That means this has to multiply by 2, because I do the same thing on the top as I do on the bottom. What is 7 times 2? Well, it's 14. So this would not be equal, because 7 times 2 or 7 times 3 would be 21. So this would not be equal, so the answer would be no. And I like to just put that slash through the equal sign like that. Let's work on the try it on page 110. It's numbers 4, 5, and 6. I'll put them on the page. You write them down, solve them, and then when you hit play again, the answers will pop up. Now, I know some of these might be a little bit easier to see and just say in your head, yes, this is what I know right away, but you need to show your work of how you got to these answers. So go ahead and work those out, and then pause it, and then when you hit play, the answers will appear. All right, and that concludes our second video.